In the fast-paced world of pop music, timing can be everything. A song released at just the right time can become a massive hit, but if it drops too late, it can miss its moment. In this video, we'll look at 10 singles that were released too late. New Romantics by Taylor Swift. Taylor's 1989 album was a pop masterpiece that dominated the charts, with hit after hit. However, New Romantics, one of the album's most infectious tracks, was released as the 7th and final single in 2016, nearly 2 years after the album's release. By the time the momentum of 1989 had largely faded, and fans and radio had already moved on. Despite being a banger, with lyrics celebrating the spirit of young love and freedom, it only reached number 46 on the Billboard Hot 100, a disappointing peak compared to the other singles on the album. The song's late release led to its underperformance, as it could have been a top 10 hit if it was released earlier. Why Don't You Love Me by Beyonce. Beyonce's I Am Sasha Fierce is one of her most successful albums, but one of its standout tracks, Why Don't You Love Me, was released too late to achieve its full potential. The song was initially a bonus track on the deluxe version of the album, but it was released as a single in 2010. Almost 2 years after the album's release. It's a fierce up-tempo track where Beyonce questions her lover's inability to appreciate her while showing off her vocal range. Despite its potential, the song did not manage to chart on the Billboard Hot 100, but topped the Billboard Dance Club Songs chart. The late release meant that it didn't achieve the promotional push or radio play that the earlier singles from the album had enjoyed, leading to its poor chart performance. Radar by Britney Spears. Britney Spears' Radar has one of the most unusual single releases. Originally included on her 2007 album Blackout, she originally planned to release it as a third single from the album, but Break the Ice was chosen instead. The song was later added to her 2008 album Circus as a bonus, and was released as its 4th single in June 2009. By the time Radar was released, Britney was already moving on to other projects, and the song's connection to 2 different albums created confusion. The song peaked at a low number 88 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it one of Britney's least successful singles. The late release, along with the strange decision to include it on 2 albums, significantly hurt its chances of becoming a hit. It could have been more successful had it been released earlier. One Last Time by Ariana Grande. Ariana's My Everything was a hit-filled album, producing major singles like Problem and Bang Bang. One Last Time was released as the album's 5th and final single in February 2015, 6 months after the album's release in August 2014. The song is a heartfelt EDM-influenced pop anthem with an emotional vocal performance from Ariana, and it has since become a fan favorite. However, its late release meant that it initially peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, which was a respectable position. The song gained renewed attention because Ariana re-released it after the tragic Manchester bombing in 2017, where it became a symbol of resilience and unity. It is now the most streamed song from the album, now sitting on more than 1.5 billion streams on Spotify. I think it should have been released earlier in the album cycle, but it became a hit either way. In the Nights by The Weeknd. The Weeknd's Beauty Behind the Madness was a career-defining album, with hits like Can't Feel My Face and The Hills dominating the charts. In the Night, a Michael Jackson-inspired track, was released as the album's 4th single in November 2015, months after the album's release. It was released with a dark and visually striking music video. It also had an upbeat, danceable production as a juxtaposition. Despite its critical acclaim, the song peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, which was great, but I think it should have been a number 1 hit. If it had been released earlier, it could have been one of The Weeknd's biggest hits, but its late push limited its chart success. This Is How We Do by Katy Perry. Katy Perry's Prism was packed with chart-topping hits like Roar and Dark Horse. By the time This Is How We Do was released as the album's final single in July 2014, the momentum had already diminished. The album was released in October 2013, and the public had already been saturated with its earlier releases. It is a fun, carefree anthem that is reminiscent of the Teenage Dream era. Despite its potential as a summer hit, the song peaked at a disappointing number 24 on the Billboard Hot 100. This was partly due to the cringy music video, where Katy looked like this. Had it been released earlier, perhaps as the 3rd and 4th single, it might have enjoyed greater success. Cru Summer by Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's Lover album was filled with potential singles, but Cru Summer was the one the fans were clamoring for. A fan favorite track with its infectious chorus was poised to be a summer smash. However, it wasn't officially released as a single until 2023, when it went viral on social media. 4 years after the album's initial release in 2019, although it eventually became a huge hit, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's hard not to wonder what heights it would have reached had it been released as a lead single for Lover. The song's late release as a single felt like a missed opportunity, but Taylor rectified that mistake, and it is now the biggest song of her career, accumulating more than 2.4 billion streams on Spotify. Broken Clocks by SZA. SZA's debut album Control was a critically acclaimed project that solidified her place in the R&B world. Broken Clocks was released as the album's 4th single in January 2018, more than 6 months after the album's initial release in June 2017. A smooth, introspective track that resonated with listeners through its relatable lyric and multiple catchy parts. Despite its quality, the song only peaked at number 82 on the Billboard Hot 100. By the time it was released, Control had already produced hits like Love Galore and The Weeknd, and the album's momentum as a whole was growing, but was not producing chart-topping hits. The song did not get the push it deserved, and it should have been a bigger hit. In recent years, it gained renewed attention, with a new audience discovering it, because it went viral on TikTok. Chunky by Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars' 24K Magic album was a celebration of funk, R&B, and overall old music. Chunky, a smooth, groovy banger from the album, was released as a 4th single in November 2017, a year after the album's initial release. Despite its infectious beat and catchy lyrics, it did not make a significant impact on the charts, not even charting on the Billboard Hot 100, and only peaking at number 79 on the UK singles chart. By the time of its release, the album had already delivered huge hits like 24K Magic and That's What I Like, and the hype surrounding it had cooled. Chunky might have been a summer anthem if it had been released earlier, as it is one of the most fun songs from the album. Rehab by Rihanna. Rihanna's Good Girl Gone Bad was a defining album in her career, producing several massive hits like Umbrella and Don't Stop the Music. However, Rehab, the 5th and final single from the album, was released in October 2008, more than a year after the album's initial release in 2007. Rehab, written with Justin Timberlake, is a ballad about a toxic relationship that is hard to quit, much like an addiction. Despite its guitar groove and banging beat, it peaked at number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100. It sounds like a song of future sex love sounds. By the time Rehab was released, the album had already spawned numerous hits, and she had already released a reissue to the album Good Girl Gone Bad Reloaded. I think the song did not get the spotlight it deserved. Which singles did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.